Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 134. In this episode, you're going to hear from Kelsey Kurtis. Kelsey is a total badass. She helps leaders stand confidently in their business with branding, education, and she also does branding photography. But if you're sitting there saying, whoa, I'm not in business, I don't know that I should listen to this, you absolutely should. Kelsey has a book called The Connection Method. And yes, it's about branding, but she talks about how if you want to be a leader, then you need to brand yourself as a leader. So even if you're not in business, but you live a life, right? You live anywhere on this planet, there's things you can learn about being a leader. And even if you already are a leader, I believe that we always can improve. So definitely stay tuned, listen to Kelsey, and she's super funny, so she'll keep you entertained. All right, before we get to the episode, I've been talking to you about this badass adventure retreat. Truth bomb, I changed the name. Badass adventure retreat is super cool and sounds so much fun, but it could also sound intimidating. It's more like a retreat. I changed it to gather and plan, so you can gather with other badasses and plan out 2021, and then there's going to be a splash of adventure. Nothing too crazy, nothing intimidating. So I did end up changing the name to Gather and Plan 2021 Retreat. But it's going to be so epic. It's in Florida, this house. You got to see the pictures. It's so amazing. So there's a limited group of women who can go on this retreat. I would absolutely love it if you joined me. I know that it's going to be life-changing. We are going to talk about your personal finances, your relationships, and your health. These three things are super important, and let's conquer them together around a group of badass women. I want you to be there. If you are all interested, definitely check out the link that I throw in the podcast notes, and reach out to me at Ordinary to Badass on Instagram. If you have any questions, it is going to be so much fun. It's going to be in October, but I would love to have you there, and it would be so awesome to meet people that listen to this podcast in person. Oh, and real quick, just so you're aware, the price is going up in a week, so lock it in today, so that you don't have to worry about the price increase. All right, let's get to the episode with Kelsey. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm glad you're here. Today's guest is Kelsey Kurtis. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you on the show.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So first off, before we go any further, I have got to ask you, do you consider yourself ordinary or badass?
You know, can I be an ordinary badass?
Can you explain it?
Yes, I would say I would definitely consider myself a badass because I am anything but ordinary. My whole life, I have looked to challenge the status quo of everything should be this one way. And I go, let's challenge that. And the fact I've kept that passion from when I was a kid to now into adulthood and into my professional realm, it basically was a sign of not letting fear get in the way. And so I think when we can push past fear and, you know, really look at the opportunities that are ahead of us and charge ahead, that makes us a badass. But I do my badassery in a very ordinary way. So nothing too special, just pushing forward.
So you said that you challenge the status quo. Can you give us an example of that?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, we can start from the early days of little Kelsey, where my mom put me in dance class. And I was literally, I say this in my book, where I was a little baby unicorn twerking in the corner when everybody else was doing the plies and the 8 counts, and I was having my own disco party in the corner. Um, I also just my presence, I'm a 6 foot tall woman. I'm large and in charge. My stature is different, and it makes people go, oh, women can be different sizes and not fit into this specific mold that we see on the cover of magazines. And then most recently, if we want to let's just dive right into it.
Yes.
My book, The Connection Method, is my biggest challenge, challenging the status quo. It's called The Connection Method, and it's about challenging the status quo of traditional branding. Looking at it from a different perspective in order to bring humanity back to business, humanity back to leadership, and most importantly, helping you feel more confident in yourself by looking at branding in a whole new different light. I basically take traditional branding and flip it upside down. So that's a little tangent there.
Okay, I love it. I can't wait to dive into so many of those nuggets that you just shared. Now, I know you just told us that you're an author and you told us a little bit about your book. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, besides being a twerking baby unicorn as a little child, I'm actually based in the Seattle area, and for the past 11 years, I've been a professional photographer, and I specialize in lifestyle branding photography. So I work with entrepreneurs and leaders to illustrate the heart of their brand, and in order to really connect with their audience. And one thing I found through that was that people didn't really know who they were or how they were serving. And so through that process of being a photographer and specializing in this branding photography, I've become a branding educator and a branding leader, teaching entrepreneurs and leaders how to brand themselves that really connects. And so I mainly work with women. They are my bread and butter to not only help them define who they are, what they value, what people can expect from them. You can be a brand without owning a business, and then illustrating that with lifestyle branding photography. So I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. I love working with my boss ladies, illustrating who they are. And that's what I do professionally. And then I just dance my way through life the rest of the way.
I love it. Fun. So you talked a little bit about defining ourselves. And I think
Yes.
sometimes it can be a struggle, not just in business, but in life, trying to really narrow down who you are and what you stand for. What do you suggest for people to help define themselves or their business?
Yes. So that's the whole game plan of the connection method. And the reason why we need to stop the overthinking and stop letting fear jump in the driver's seat and determine our trajectory for life in business or in leadership or just in life is we're just letting these emotions and our overthinking rule the roost. And so in order for us to stop that cycle of overthinking, second guessing, you have to take those emotions of who you are or finding out who you are and turning them into something tangible. Because when we turn something emotional or just kind of imaginary in our head or an idea or a spark and turn it into something real, that's where confidence, that's where consistency can take hold. And you can move from floating around and second guessing or feeling scattered and actually plant your feet on the ground and say, this is me, take it or leave it. And everything else can then blossom from there, whether it's your career, whether it's your business, whether it's your personal relationships. Everything comes back to stepping out of feeling scattered and turning all of your ideas, values, what makes you tick, what energizes you into something definable, which is a connection-based brand.
So, what's one tactical step somebody could take to become a connection-based brand?
Well, the first thing to do is to definitely buy the connection method because it will give you plenty of tips, tricks, and an actionable process to do that. But if someone's just like, I want to make a step right now, I would say evaluate two things. One is what energizes you and what depletes you. Think about the people who energize you. Think about the jobs, the tasks, the locations. Fill in the blank. What energizes you? What people, what opportunities? And then we also have to look at the other side. what or who depletes you, whether that's in your job, whether that's in your personal life. What do you respect? What don't you respect? Look at these two sides of the coin, and write it down. Don't just think about it, write it down, turn it into something tangible that you can then evaluate and go, maybe my trajectory needs to be more towards the things that energize me, because I'm currently swirling in the things that deplete me, deplete my confidence, do not grow me, do not advance me. And so that's a really, really good place to start as a first actionable step.
I really love that. And I think that there is so much, like how you said, it depletes your confidence, or stop doing the things that deplete your confidence. And it's like, that is so powerful. And funny enough, I've been working on that recently, like the things that bring me joy, and to do more of the things that bring me joy and light me up. And it really does just kind of bring your mood up and up your level a little bit.
Absolutely, because we have to look at both sides of the coin, of not just what energizes us, but also what depletes us too. Because then when those people or opportunities or, just weird vibes start entering our lives, you can identify them and change the circumstance versus making excuses for the circumstance and diving back into a negative cycle. And you're not going to be able to thrive or build confidence or consistency. I always say consistency breeds confidence. And so if you're consistently surrounding yourself with voices and things that deplete us, then that's where your confidence will just diminish. But if you're surrounding yourself with things that energize you and build that consistency, that's where confidence can flourish.
Okay. I love that you said that. I highlighted that, and I was actually going to ask you about the consistency breeds confidence, because I love that. I always say, like, be consistent and persistent. And I think it's so important. But can you share how consistency breeds confidence?
Yes, absolutely. So we have, like, you and I both know, like, we as humans have a lot of different options, but us as women, we got a lot more things we got to deal with. Like, we are next level. There is a to-do list a mile long, always, always. And so when I say consistency breeds confidence, when you define that foundation of who you are, what you value, what people can expect from you, actually write it down, put it in front of you and say, this is me, take it or leave it. It becomes a filter for your actions. When you've got opportunities, opportunity A or opportunity B, you filter it through who you are, your connection-based brand, you filter those opportunities through that. And so when you make decisions, you can go, hey, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what people can expect from me. This opportunity, this thought, this insecurity, this overthinking, it's actually not aligning consistently with those things I've identified. And so that's where you can then go no to that opportunity or change the circumstance in order to fit into this definition of who you are. And so it's just a way to filter our decisions, a way to filter, who we surround ourselves with. Because if we don't have a touch point, if we don't have a foundation to check back to, we're just going to continually spin, spin, spin. And we're not the only ones suffering from that. Our community outside of us, not only our friends and family, but our employees, our employers, contractors that want to work with us, we're hindering ourselves by not being consistent in showing up as who we are and saying yes to who we are and saying no to the things that take us away from that consistency.
So if we're making decisions based on our values and kind of the touch points that we've defined, does that then in turn give us more confidence?
Absolutely, because again, it creates this foundation that you can come back to and go, okay, yep, I'm on the right track. Us as humans, we are only looking to be validated. Whether you want to agree with that or not, we all desire validation. One thing my queen, Oprah Winfrey, said that I thought was an amazing story. She said, I've interviewed thousands and thousands of people over my years. And no matter who I was interviewing, whether it was a prisoner on death row or a president, after every interview, every single person has asked the same question. And that question was, Was that okay? Did I do okay? We are all seeking validation. And so when we define these pieces of ourselves with a connection based brand of defining our personal brand as an individual or a business, that's a way to self validate ourselves. And when we validate ourselves, we can go, heck yeah, I'm moving forward. Oh, what's that little tingle tingle? Oh, that's confidence rising. That's what's happening. Okay. And so then as our confidence rises, then our community latches onto that and goes, oh, what is she doing? I want a part of that. I want to support that. I want that. I want that. And then this energy starts rippling out, and then impact can truly happen.
I love that. That's so powerful, so good. In your book, you talk a little bit about the Sasquatch factor. Can you share with us what that is?
Yes, the Sasquatch factor. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm 6 feet tall. I wear a size 12 shoe. I am a large woman. And I have always been the largest in the crowd. I've always had the biggest personality. I've always challenged the status quo when someone tells me, no, this is the way it should be. I've always been different. And I've always felt like that mythical creature in the forest, just like, huh? Is this who I am? I'm an outsider. I'm an outlier. And so when I was putting the book together, and after working with so many entrepreneurs and leaders, I realized that I wasn't the only one. We all have things that make us feel different. We all have stories that, create a different life plan that we've had. And so I call those things that make us different our Sasquatch factor, the things that make us just go, yeah, I'm a little bit different. And we all have them. And so what's really important is, I always say that the truest form of connection comes from when others can see themselves in you. But if you don't know who you are, or if you haven't owned what makes you different, it's going to be really hard for people to genuinely connect with you and buy into you and create that larger impact. And so when you can identify the things that make you different, your Sasquatch factor, the things that may seem so boring because it's just your life, they don't see anything special. But when you can define those and then own them and then share them, you become a vessel of connection. You become a vessel of impact. And so identifying your Sasquatch factor is truly a really important step to go, yeah, I'm a little bit off. I'm a little bit different. and own it and be proud of it, because those little things are truly how we connect and have the most powerful connection with others.
Yes, it's so funny because we try to hide those things, like where we can be like so embarrassed or so mortified by those things. But yeah, the vulnerable moments where you share with others, other people can see themselves in you too.
Exactly. I mean, one of the main points of defining your connection-based brand with the connection method is letting people know that us as humans, we really only have 3 needs. We need to feel seen, we need to feel heard, and we need to feel like we matter. And if you can do that by sharing your heart, sharing your story through your brand, whether it's personally or professionally, again, a brand is not just for business owners. That way you can open up that door for impact so that others can hear your story and go, me too. I'm not alone. Loneliness is an epidemic in this world. And so if we can connect with people by sharing our Sasquatch factor, we can allow the door to open for others to feel seen, feel heard, and feel like they matter.
Yes. So you said a brand isn't just for business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And in your book, you talk about how branding can be for leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Can you first describe what branding is for somebody that's not in business and isn't aware, and then also how leadership can need branding?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking this question, because I always tell people, we throw the word brand around like beads at Mardi Gras, but we have no idea what it is. So whenever I ask somebody, tell me about your brand, I get 1 or 2 responses. The first one is, oh yeah, my brand? Take a peek at my business card. Look at the fonts. Look at the pretty colors. Aren't they pretty? Right? Now, fonts and colors and logos, it's a part of branding, but that's step 10. There's a huge piece before you even get there. The second response I get is, "Oh, hey, branding. Yeah, I really know I need to do better on my social media. I need to post more. Like, it needs to be better." And social media is not branding, it's marketing. It's two separate things. So, Kelsey, what actually is branding? So, when I talk about branding, it's actually composed of three different elements. The first one, yes, is your brand foundation. This is the thing that we've been talking about this entire podcast of who we are, what we value, and what people can expect from us. This is the heart of who you are. It is your foundation. It's the thing that you're going to base all of your other decisions on. It's the source where consistency and confidence will come from. The second two pieces of a brand are your brand image and visibility, and also your brand logo. So those two pieces, yes, are your fonts and your colors. But most people, when they just define a brand, they dive right into those two things, and then they feel scattered. And you're like, I don't know, I just picked something because it was pretty. But if you can define your brand foundation, who you are, what you value, what people can expect from you, you can then move forward and know why your colors are that way, why your logo is that way, why your resume looks that way, why you're going for that job and not that job, why you're applying for that promotion. And so that's what's really important to define first. That way you can move forward with intentionality versus impulsivity on that. And so in the leadership realm, I like whether you're an entrepreneur or a leader, everyone's a brand. You walk in and someone has a perceived emotional perception of you, whether they've known you forever or whether they're meeting you for the first time. You as a human are your own brand. And so how you can leverage this is by defining those integral pieces of who you are, what you value, what people can expect from you. That way, when you do have a promotion coming up, you know if it's a good fit for you or not, or maybe it's time to move on, or maybe you want to bring on a new team member or bring on new employees. It's a way to set the expectation of letting people know what to expect from you, and also a way to push you forward in your leadership. And so it's so important to define those things so you can move forward with intention and that confidence and not go, oh, is this a good option? Is this good? Is this good? Or should I do that? No, this is who I am. This is what I value. This is what people can expect from me. I'm moving forward with this, this, and this. I always say that the biggest fear people have is the fear of the unknown. And that's for you personally and also people around you. And so if you can define what people can expect from you and also define what you can expect from yourself, it's a really good way to create that consistency. But it all starts with defining that connection-based brand, which is really the heart and foundation of who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that that could be used in so many areas. And even if you don't feel like you're a leader right now, but you want to become a leader or you want to become more confident, it's like, well, start looking at who you are and what you value and get those things laid out. And that will help you to like be able to make decisions that feel aligned with yourself. So I think that's so powerful.
Yes. And, it's interesting you say, they want to be a leader or maybe they don't know how to be a leader. One thing that I want your listeners to challenge, join me in challenging the status quo, challenge your perception of what a leader is. Because our society has told us a lot of shoulds in our life. A leader should be someone in a black blazer and a white button-down shirt behind a podium speaking to the masses. That is what a leader is. Yeah, no, sweetie, that's not how it works. You actually define the narrative of your brand and you define what a leader actually is. You can be a leader in an interpersonal conversation with a friend. You can be a leader of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't devalue the role you have as someone who is planting their feet and saying, this is who I am. This is what you can expect from me. I want to help you grow. I want to create impact with my voice. That's what a leader is.
Yes, yes. So, Kelsey, I got to ask you, we see Kelsey Kurtis, total badass, right in front of our eyes, but we don't often see the backside of things because in social media, we see one thing, and get a certain perception, but we don't know. So to kind of show us behind the scenes here, have you ever
Yes.
had any struggles or hardships to get to where you are today?
Marie, my life has been perfect. I've never had a struggle in my life. What are you talking about? I don't know.
I
Oh,
thought so.
girl. Yeah, let's just I'll hop on the struggle bus and let's toot that horn and move forward together up the mountain. Oh my goodness. So, here's the thing is I I, as everyone, have had struggles. But I have chosen a very positive mindset of like these struggles are meant to strengthen me. And I hate how cliche that sounds, but it truly has. And every time I have had a struggle, I've trained myself to go, this is something to help me strengthen myself so I can impact others and have others feel seen through that. So that was something that my mom taught me very early on. I grew up in an angry household, very scary household, angry words. It was not a peaceful uh, childhood, we would say. And so I remember this, and I actually speak about this in my book. My mom sat me down one night after a very kind of terrifying day with my father. And she said, Kelsey, you're going through this for a reason. I'm sorry that we're in this situation, but just know that you going through this is going to help so many other people as you grow up. And you having this understanding of pain and fear is not just for you to live in a silo, but for you to use it. And so I learned that lesson very, very early on, that things in my life that were struggles were happening for a reason, even though they sucked really bad. Um, and so leading on to my adult life, I was in a very limiting relationship. I got divorced almost a couple years ago officially. Um, and that was a huge struggle that I didn't realize was limiting me. And then once I left that relationship, not only did my personal life thrive, but my business quadrupled because I was able to then spread my wings and not be limited.
Yeah.
Um, I would also say, I didn't grow up in a very wealthy household. And so pushing through a scarcity mindset, and being in not positive situations because of not thinking that I deserved more or I could put myself out there more. So those are just kind of very basic overviews, but it's not been just a easy breezy, beautiful cover girl life.
So when you're in the throes of it, you have shit coming your way. Is there something that you do to help get yourself into a positive mindset?
Yes. So the best advice I have ever been given is to ask for and receive help. Do not do it alone. Find people who energize you, uplift you, see a bigger picture for you, and surround yourself with those people. And so I just surround myself with people who believe in me and don't let me stay in the rut of overthinking or self-pity or self-deprecation. They're like, wait, hey, I thought I was friends with Kelsey Kurtis, not this. Like, sure, feel the feels. That's super important. Let's talk it out. But we got to get going. You got things to do, sister. And so I have a very, very strong community of boss ladies. I call my crew the connection crew. Everybody who is just looking to build connection, create impact, not let us settle for the status quo. And so that's honestly the most important thing is creating my own family of people who all are on the same page, and asking for help.
Yes, yes. I mean, I will admit I have not always been great at asking for help. It's one
Mhm.
of those things, like I used to be like more like I'll just power through it, but
Yep.
that doesn't get you, anywhere really, because you go through the same cycle over and over just
Yep.
trying to power through it.
Mhm.
But I love how you talked about, I think you said it was the connection crew,
Yes.
and having your people, because it can be so, I'm sorry, my dogs are, I usually don't have them in here, but I
Yay.
did today.
I love puppies.
Um, but having a connection crew or a group of badass women by your
Mhm.
side to lift you up instead of like
Mhm.
bringing you down, how has that changed your life or impacted your life?
I mean, it's been huge in my marriage before. I'll call it my limiting relationship. I put myself in a silo. I minimized myself, and then once I was able to leave that relationship, I was able to bring my head up from the ground and look at all the possibilities. And so it's so vital. And you know what the best part is that yeah, some of these ladies are locally here in the Seattle area, but a lot of them are my Instagram family. I have an amazing relationship, friendships on Instagram from all over the world, and we are just rooting each other on. And so when we are in those quiet moments by ourselves, second guessing each other, we know we have each other to reach out and ask for help. And if we don't ask for help, you're just asking to stay in your own misery. And if we ask for help, we're asking for flourishing. And when we are able to open ourselves up to help, we're able to have a bigger impact. But just know, opening yourself up to help is scary AF. Like it's not rainbows and sunshine at all. Like it's like, oh, I'm stepping out and I feel like I'm walking out with an open trench coat going, here I am. Here are my problems. Shake it, shimmy. This is terrifying, but it's worth it in the end.
That's so funny. Okay, so what that reminded me of, totally random.
Yes. I love random thoughts.
My sister-in-law got me a wine glass that said Merry AF, like during the holidays,
Oh, yes.
Merry AF. So it feels like there should be a wine glass Scary AF.
Yes. Yeah. And not just for Halloween, but just for existence.
Exactly.
I like that. Scary AF. This is just my existence, but we're pushing through. We're going for it. Like, I see you, fear. I see you there. Let's move on.
Absolutely. So O to Beers, you heard it from Kelsey. Push past your fear and also find other badasses around you. And it can be online or in person, but seek those people out. It's so important.
Yes. Find me. Hook up with me. Become part of the connection crew. I'm always accepting new friends.
Absolutely.
Being a twerking unicorn, very different child. I did not have very many friends growing up. So please become my friend on Instagram.
So Kelsey, you talked about putting yourself in a silo when you're married, and I can 100% relate to that. That was definitely me.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to the woman who's putting herself in a silo right now?
I would say, define your non-negotiables in life. Like put away the, what if I can never find somebody like this? Or what if I won't be able to provide for myself? What if? Put all of those what if scenarios away and look at, if you could design your perfect life, what are the non-negotiables? Is it that you make a certain amount of money? Is it that you live in a certain place? Is it that you have time with your family? That you have a relationship that hits X, Y, and Z points, that is uplifting and energetic and is fiery? Whatever it is, find your non-negotiables in life. Put away the buts of like, but this, oh no, but what this, or well, I should do this. No. Put the buts and shoulds away and go, what are my non-negotiables for life, for business, for leadership? Fill in the blank. They're all connected. And reevaluate how you're going to get there. And then I would also say, find one person to have those conversations with that can be a leader in your life. And it might be, an actual one-on-one coach or mentor, or maybe it's a friend who always tells you like it is. And maybe you need to enter those conversations with more open ears because they care about you. So that's what I would say, is find your non-negotiables in life and find another person to help you have those conversations, because you can find those non-negotiables and then just let them swirl in your brain in your comfort zone for years and years and years and years and years until you die. So the catalyst is bringing someone in to have those conversations to actually make that happen, whether that's staying in a relationship, moving on, staying in a job, moving on, changing the circumstances. You got to make some big moves.
Yes. And Kelsey said, put the buts and shoulds away. I really liked that. I think that's a great quote. And it kind of reminds me, if you, O to Beers, if you're looking for a quick read, All But Stink. It's talking about
Yes.
like instead of making excuses, but it's really good.
Yeah.
But also definitely pick up Kelsey's book, The Connection Method. It's so good. I can't stop highlighting it. But before we get to the end, let's just end with a tip to encourage women who are in the arena fighting for the life that they want, and then share how we can connect with you.
Yes. The tip is to define things. Get out of your head. Define things. Start putting pen to paper, and the connection method can help you do that. It will ask you a ton of questions to help you define that, but actually get out of your head, take the emotion and turning it into something tangible, because that's how action can happen. If it's just floating around in your brain, you can't really do anything with it. But once it has legs to it, defining those ideas, those fears, those thoughts is going to be huge. So the connection method can definitely help with that. If you want to connect with me, Instagram is my second home. You can find me at Kelsey M. Kurtis, Kurtis with a K. They call me KK. And then you can buy the connection method easily peasily on Amazon. And I truly would love to connect with you. If you're listening to this, please shoot me a DM on Instagram. You can also find my website, kelseykurtis.com.
Okay, awesome. I will throw all of that in the show notes. Kelsey, thank you so much. You've been a total badass and I've enjoyed hearing your story.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it. Wasn't that interview fun? I totally enjoyed talking to Kelsey. So stay tuned. On Thursday, you can hear why Kelsey is so badass. So make sure you listen in on Thursday for that. And then just a reminder, if you want to go to the Gather and Plan 2021 retreat in Florida, look at the link in the show notes because I would love to have you there. All right, I'll chat with you on Thursday.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.